Japan is becoming more like Europe. Former Defense Minister Shigeru Ishiba has just announced that Japan will accept 300,000 immigrants from Africa. And that's not all. AT, the Africa Development Conference, TICAD, Japan's International Cooperation Agency, JITSA, unveiled a new initiative. 4 Japanese cities are now officially designated as hometowns for African nations.
The Japan International Cooperation Agency will designate 4 Japanese cities as hometowns for African nations during the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, opening today in Yokohama. Nagai and Yamagata will be paired with Tanzania, Kisarazu and Chiba with Nigeria, Sanjo and Nagata with Ghana, and Mbari and Niamey with Mozambique. The initiative aims to deepen human exchanges, boost regional revitalization, and strengthen Japan's ties with Africa. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba is also expected to announce plans to accelerate development of the Nakala Corridor, with a logistics network linking Zambia to Mozambique's coast.
日本はアフリカの皆さんと共に笑い、共に泣き、共に汗をかきながら、アフリカが直面する課題の解決に一つ一つ取り組んでまいります。
Breaking news, Japan is designating 4 cities to be the home of Africans from 4 countries. And those countries are Nigeria, Tanzania, Ghana, and Mozambique. Now, Japan has been notorious for keeping out foreigners. And Japan is facing a massive crisis. It's facing a massive crisis of lack of population growth. So hospitals and schools have been closing in Japan for the last so many years. The biggest crisis they have right now is that they have a very large aging population, and now they are realizing that they have to open the doors for Africans, but they don't want the Africans to be mixing with the Japanese people. So they have created and assigned 4 cities that will become the hometowns for Africans. It makes me laugh because
Hello and what's up, good people? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. Now, we want to talk about this Africa versus Japan issue, and this is what's up. So Japan has opened its doors to Africans. Apparently, it has even assigned 4 cities to different African countries, calling them hometowns for the various African countries it has already assigned to those cities. And it purports to have the desire to take in hundreds of thousands of Africans to train to become AI experts and many more. Yeah, and you wonder, why is Japan so generous? Why is it doing this? So according to Japan, this is what they want to, this is their aim, to deepen or strengthen diplomatic ties with Africa. Number 2, address African challenges. That's funny. And cultural exchange programs. Yeah, and you'd think Japan is a good country. Yeah, it is a good country. But the whole of this deal, according to my perspective and that of many others, it's a bit so fishy. Why? First of all, the fact that it has created this label of Africans' hometowns in these cities raises all the alarms. And people have had a lot to say about it. And I want us to listen to what people have had to say about this issue. And we will be back with a good analysis, because I personally feel like this is a fishy deal and this is a red flag. And we know how to identify red flags when we see some. And this is one of those red flags, because all of the reasons Japan is actually stating as the reasons are actually just the superficial reasons. What is really underlying beneath is, we all know that Japan is undergoing a serious demographic crisis, and that is what is leading to this. But before we go deep into this, let's just get people's perspective on this, and we will be back with a very good analysis. So see you on the other side.
I can't believe it, y'all. It really happened. I know it's been a minute since I've been doing this new shit. Negro town in Japan, finally, bro, let's go. The Nigerians have a hometown in Japan now. It's really close to Tokyo too. It's called Kizurazu. It's in Chiba. If you look at it, it's actually the place where I posted a video of this Japanese guy working at this ramen shop, and he's a big man and he picks up people and carry them around and do all type of crazy stuff. That ramen place is there too. And I've been saying this a long time. Make Japan black. Yo, you want to know why they doing this? Because the low population of young people. That city has an aging population. Like, everybody there is old, bro. I'm talking about like everybody there is like in their 60s, 70s, like real thing. The main industry of this place is steel and stuff like that. It's an industrial place. So it's a real like small town, but bro, this is a big step. And I've been saying this a long time. Japan needs to step up its game with the foreigners, bro, because you know what I'm saying? We make babies fast and we hard workers, bro. But it's something that they're doing to try to get more skilled Nigerian. But really, they just want some black people to come mix with their population so they can get the baby making up. Yes, sir. So all my Nigerians in the world, go to Kizurazu.
Breaking news, Japan is designating 4 cities to be the home of Africans from 4 countries. And those countries are Nigeria, Tanzania, Ghana, and Mozambique. Now, Japan has been notorious for keeping out foreigners. And Japan is facing a massive crisis. It's facing a massive crisis of lack of population growth. So hospitals and schools have been closing in Japan for the last so many years. The biggest crisis they have right now is that they have a very large aging population. And now they are realizing that they have to open the doors for Africans. But they don't want the Africans to be mixing with the Japanese people. So they have created and assigned 4 cities that will become the hometowns for Africans. It makes me laugh because, like, what is it about Africans that, you know what? Yeah, we Africans should just refuse to be treated this way. That they don't want the actual Africans to mix with normal Japanese people, so they have to assign locations where Africans will stay, will be confined. And because I don't think people realize just how right-wing Japan is. Tell me, what do you think about this? Why is it that Africans allow themselves to be treated and I know Africans need to go to places because it seems like because opportunities are thin on the ground. But how can we just continue to just be treated in this way? What do you guys think? Just let me know in the comments what you think about Japan designating 4 cities in which Africans can live in Japan.
So, a lot of people demographic crisis. The population is shrinking, schools and hospitals in rural areas are closing down, and the country has one of the largest aging populations in the world. They need young people, they need skilled workers, and they need fresh energy to revive some of their communities. That part is true. But here's where people get it wrong. Japan is not building segregated African camps. What actually happened is that at the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 9, Japan launched a symbolic program through JICA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency. They picked 4 Japanese cities and they matched each one with an African country. For example, Kisarazu in Chiba Prefecture became the hometown for Nigeria. Why? Because Kisarazu already has ties with Nigeria. It hosted the Nigerian Olympic team during Tokyo 2020. That bond was there already, and now they want to build on it. Nagai in Yamagata Prefecture was linked with Tanzania. Nagai is a small city that has been struggling with depopulation, and through this initiative, it will host Tanzanian workers and students, helping both the city and the people of Tanzania. Sanjo in Niigata Prefecture was chosen for Ghana. Sanjo is a city known for its metalworking and craftsmanship, and Ghanaian youth can gain skills there while also contributing to the local industry. Imabari in Ehime Prefecture was assigned to Mozambique. Imabari is Japan's shipbuilding capital, and Mozambique has a long coastline and maritime interests, so the partnership makes a lot of sense. So these towns were not chosen randomly, and definitely not as isolation zones. They were selected because of existing ties, economic potential, and opportunities for skill sharing. Now some people still ask, but why assign cities in the first place? Why not just let Africans live anywhere? The answer is that this is about structured cooperation. Japan wants to make sure that when people come, they don't just get lost in Tokyo or Osaka, but actually connect with local communities where they can be welcomed, supported, and integrated into industries that need them. It's about creating a bridge that benefits both sides. Africans get skills, experience, and opportunities, and Japanese towns that are dying out get a second life. So when you hear people say, Japan just wants to use Africans but doesn't want them to mix with their people, that's not the real story. The truth is that this is a diplomatic and developmental initiative, one that highlights respect and partnership. It's not perfect. Japan is still very conservative when it comes to immigration, but this is actually a rare and important step forward. If you look closely, it's not about pushing Africans into corners. It's about opening doors. Carefully, yes, but in a way that might create long-term opportunities for both Japan and Africa.
This is the news that you consume. I'm a little bit late on this, but Japan has just proposed 4 African countries to get an official homeland special visa category under Japan's new immigration deal. So the Japanese government has assigned 4 cities as its official hometowns for African residents from specific nations to promote cultural and economic ties. My opinion on this is a very good move by Japan, especially with migrants from China, to where they can move into a city and have a home footing before they can have a broader immigration process throughout Japan. This is very smart. I wish much countries in Europe would do this, where African migrants come over and they actually have a city where they can integrate into and kind of like get their feet wet in the country so they can further migrate. And Japan has said this, that the initiative unveiled during the TICAD-9 in Yokohama. This was the conference with African and Japanese leaders that just happened, I think, a week or 2 ago. So it aims to strengthen bilateral relations with Nigeria. So the 4 African countries that are being targeted are Nigeria, Tanzania, Ghana, and Mozambique. So special visa programs will facilitate skilled African professionals to live and work in these cities while addressing Japan's labor shortages. This is a good plan because it could help Nigeria, it could help these countries in a way where their skilled professionals could go over to Japan, gain those skills, and if they're able to come back, that would be a great deal for those African countries. But it could also be a negative because Japan needs skilled labor, so that could also hinder Africa in a way where Africa gets drained from its young and brightest minds, which often happens and is called brain drain.
Did you know that Japan has designated the city of Kisarazu as hometown for Nigerians? Konnichiwa. Well, that greeting is pregnant, and I'm going to be the midwife in a minute. This news will interest people who are planning to japa from Nigeria. The Office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria recently announced that the government of Japan has named a city, Kisarazu, as the hometown for all Nigerians who want to live and work in Japan. I'm sure some of us will be curious to know, why is Japan opening its doors to young Africans? Why is Japan naming its cities as hometown for Africans? In a nutshell, Japan is struggling with the challenges of a declining population and a shrinking agricultural farmland. So the Japanese government now has got plans to create a special visa category for young, talented, highly skilled, and innovative Nigerians who want to move to Kisarazu to live and work. The Japanese government has named the city of Nagai as a hometown of Tanzania. Sanyo has been named as a hometown of Ghana, and Imabari as a city of Mozambique. The question is, now that Nigeria has a hometown in Japan, will you japa to Japan?
Japan wants to make a deal with Africa, and I think everybody should hear this. So Japan is facing a very big problem because their population comprises of so many people who are aged, very old people in Japan. And in this case, Japan is saying that it does not have a workforce. So they need Africans to go to Japan to work in Japan and also help with this problem. because they don't have a young, vibrant generation. But let me tell you, there are so many conditions they have put which you won't believe. If these Africans travel to Japan, they are going to live in 4 cities, and these 4 cities have been designated only for Africans. Each city with one African nation, and these African nations should not mix inside Japan. And what is even shocking, they don't want these Africans to mix with the Japanese. So they will have designated cities which they are going to live there, and there is no going out. So Japan is defending this and saying that it is for mutual benefit, but the question is, could this be type of segregation in which the Africans are going to live on their own and the Japanese on their own?
Our government keeps lying to us with a straight face. Like, you probably must have heard all the noise about Japan's new African hometown project. Nigerians were told it meant special visas, opportunities, and even trade deals for us. But guess what? Japan has come out to say no such thing exists. So what exactly is happening here? Let's be clear, Japan launched its initiative during TICAD 9, the big Tokyo International Conference on African Development. They picked 4 African countries and 4 Japanese cities to be like hometowns in terms of cultural exchange, friendship, and sending volunteers, or maybe some small municipal projects. That was not a visa program, not immigration plan, not a free entry to Japan. In fact, Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs publicly clarified it, saying, "This is not a visa program. This is not an immigration scheme." Even Japanese mayor had to come out and say, "Please, nobody is coming to settle, so the truth is on record." Now, compare that to what we're told by our own governments and officials, all right? They told us that Japan was creating a special visa category for highly skilled Nigerians, for artisans, for innovators. They even made it look like Japan was opening a new door just for us. They even said young Nigerians could benefit directly by working in Japan under this program. That was the story we were fed with. When Japan saw those reports, they did not waste time. They asked Nigeria to correct the false claim because Japan knew it was creating unnecessary expectations. The fact is that social media in Japan blew up. People started shouting, "So Africans are coming to flood our country." The mayor had to come out to say no to that. Japan's own foreign ministry had to step in and officially deny what Nigeria was telling its citizens. So imagine the embarrassment. Another country correcting our own government lies. So the question is, why would Nigeria lie? Simple. Our politicians think citizens don't check. They believe they can make big promises and nobody will fact check them. Bayo Anonuga himself even had to shift the narrative, saying Nigeria's focus at TICAD was power, energy, agriculture, and not trade fairs. So why did you hype the visa in the first place? So here's the bottom line. Japan never promised us visas. They never promised to take our artisans. What they promise is friendship, cultural ties, and volunteers. It's our leaders that twisted it into visas and trade deals just to look good. Nigerians deserve honesty, not lies. Because if you lie to us today, tomorrow we will expose you. Simple. Isn't it funny? The same president who keeps calling on Nigerians to come back and invest here is the same government dangling Japan and foreign countries like a prize. So what exactly is the policy? Stay home or run abroad? Even the government seems confused about what it really wants. It's the truth at a time. Take care and
Okay, welcome back. After listening to the reactions of different people, you can say most people have actually noticed the red flags in this deal, apparently. However, there's some people who still see, I think, the negative side to it, and the positive side to it as well. But from my perspective, this is why I actually think this is one of those fishy deals or a red flag, because to me, this is a symbolic segregation or containment in some sort. So even if the initiative isn't about immigration, and first of all, we know that Japan is a good country. but Japan is a very, very conservative society, and one that is notorious when it comes to immigration issues. They don't really have good tolerance, historically, for foreigners or outsiders. So even if the initiative isn't about immigration, the concept of designating specific towns for specific African nations could mirror some segregation logic in a very subtle way. So why group Africans geographically at all in the very first place? So even if only symbolic, assigning African countries to specific cities can echo the idea of designated spaces, like how racial or ethnic minorities have historically been confined to particular neighborhoods or particular towns or zones. Again, it actually implies indirectly that you can exist here, but not necessarily in the larger society, not necessarily in the largest Japanese society. So, not done for other regions. That's a good question. Why is it not done for other regions? So, there are no widely known Japanese cities officially labeled as European hometowns or South American hometowns. Even though Japan has a relationship with those regions too, it has diplomatic ties with those regions too. It might want to also help those regions too. Why doesn't it designate some hometowns for Europe, hometowns for South America or North America or anywhere else? Why necessarily African hometowns? Now, the contrast, the contrast makes the African designation stand out, possibly evoking a colonial style, paternalistic kind of framework. Yeah. And then another reason is the optics of control over inclusion, general inclusion. So the cities quickly clarified that they won't be accepting immigrants. Some cities, you've had names being mentioned there, did actually come out, and many there was a backlash, yeah, that they won't be accepting these immigrants, which to many may signal that isn't about inclusion, but it is about controlling boundaries of African presence in Japan. Yeah, why make that the main clarification? Now, it sends a message that we want African culture or symbolism here, but not African people en masse, not all of you in general. Yeah, we want what you offer, not you particularly. Again, it reinforces the idea of cultural tokenism. You're welcome only under certain controlled terms in specific symbolic capacities, not as equal members of this society. I mean, those are the subtle lines. If you dare to read in between the lines of what is going on here. Now, something else, the third point in which I take a problem with is the hometown label versus actual belonging, hometown. Now, so the use of this term, hometown, could feel disingenuous to some Africans, especially in the diaspora. So hometowns imply to roots, belonging, and home. But the same places making these symbolic declarations have made no structural moves to actually welcome African residents in terms of citizenship, long-term visas, or anti-discriminatory laws or equitable labor rights. It is the fuss and the talk, but what is actually on the ground that is going to, as a framework that is going to support these people? None has been revealed because none exists actually. Because if it were there, they definitely would have revealed that, because it is the most important thing. It's better, it's much more important than just the talk of it. Yeah, so it risks becoming just a hollow gesture, a symbol without substance. Huh? And then another point is the racial backlash that revealed deeper truth. in the aftermath. So there was a lot of xenophobic panic and online backlash in Japan after these hometowns designations were announced, even with no real policy change. And what does this reveal? There is a low tolerance or deep discomfort among parts of the public regarding to the physical presence of Black people or of Black Africans in Japan. And another thing is the fact that these cities and government rushed to deny any immigration component may suggest that they knew this was unpopular with the Japanese people, raising the question, is this initiative for Africans' benefit or is just Japan's diplomatic image that is at play here, you know? Yeah, so that is actually basically, in my view, why I think this is actually not very genuine, and it's a serious red flag. I would actually, urge my fellow Africans, in as much as they might want to try this opportunity, to really be careful about it and not just rush with the fast and the wave that's coming with it. Because I'll say once again, no one has Africa's interest than Africans themselves. The Japan coming out to say they want to help Africa is not the truth. They want to help themselves because they have a serious problem of, a seriously aging population, and they don't have people to work for them. And now they actually want, they have realized the problem, and they're trying a quick fix on it. And who is a soft spot? The easy prey. They thought maybe they could look at towards Africa and get some cheap labor like what others have done historically, So this is why this whole issue is a bit so fishy. And the fact that they want to contain us in certain places is definitely telling you that, it raises all the alarms. Why don't you let people move around, integrate, and learn? Because that's not a problem. If you think acculturation is the problem, then you've not found the actual problem. If people are willing to work, then they will always find means to acculturate, to live along. And of course, there are already many Black people in Japan and have been living along. And why not let these other people just come in and just integrate into the already existing Japanese culture? Yeah, according to me, this sounded like so fishy, and it's just we need not to rush for this bait, and just do a lot of due diligence, and maybe just opt against this if you have to. Yeah, so I don't know what you think about this. Maybe you have a different opinion on it, or you do agree with me. Just leave a comment on your opinion on what you think about this in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it as well. And if you're new to the channel, as usual, we say welcome and be part of us. And simplest way to do that is hit the subscribe button to be part of us. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.